Evening, Edgar. Could I get your professional opinion?
Please speak, but I have something important to tell you.
This strain of flu, it's very different from the one I saw in Europe. It's downright peculiar.
Really? What makes you say that?
Analyse de sang. Ok, j'ai analysé le sang.
I've just looked at the blood of one of our recently deceased.
I see. Do you have anything more to go on?
This disease spreads and looks like the Spanish flu, but its effects differ greatly. The London strain is different from the continental one.
This is very interesting. Did you find something else?
Yes. Unlike the flu, the infected begin to show an increase in outwardly aggressive behavior. More than simple agitation. Once docile people become violent.
You mean like rabies? Is there a chance we could create a vaccine, Jonathan, like Pasteur? By the stove, that would be smashing.
There's a lot we're not seeing here. But it is spreading, and quickly. If we don't act, the whole city could be lost.
But Jonathan, we've a fantastic opportunity sitting right here in front of us. A weapon of choice.
What on earth do you mean?
Why, you, my dear boy. With your expertise and your blood, we could isolate the properties that course through your veins. Think about the possibilities.
Et Jonathan. Let's go conquérir Londres.
And why not? What did Stoker say about the children of the night? Well, using my blood, I could create a whole army of vampires.
Surely you're joking.
Il a pas kiffé ma réponse.
Thank you for your time.
No, thank you, Jonathan. But as I said, I needed to talk to you. I have some rather bad news.
Yes?
I'm afraid it's your sister.
My sister?
She's to be buried this evening at Whitechapel Cemetery. Your mother published the obituary this morning.
I see.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. Please accept my condolences.
Pour lui parler de certaines choses.
I need to talk to you, Edgar.
Please do so.
Nurse Crane will not be returning to Pembroke Hospital.
Oh, really? Did something happen? She seems such a very capable woman.
Ok, elle a fait du chantage. Oui, elle a fait du chantage à Lady Ashbury.
She was blackmailed,
Tout à fait.
Lady Ashbury. Thought she was murdering patients as some sick upper-class game.
Nurse Crane was playing a dangerous game. She's lucky Lady Ashbury abhors violence.
Bah écoute, tu fais comme tu veux, Iron, hein. Tu pars quand tu veux, tu reviens quand tu veux. Mais je suis contente que tu sois venu quand même. Donc du coup... on va dépenser un peu nos poids de sang. On va augmenter un peu la jauge de santé. J'ai beaucoup de poids de sang à... je peux peut-être quand même l'augmenter. Voilà. La lourde de sang fait quand même très mal. Donc ça serait bien que ça continue. Alors, chaudron de sang. Explosion. Allez, on va voir. On va tenter. Voilà. La griffe, on peut peut-être un peu l'augmenter aussi. Je vais peut-être quand même garder quelques petits poids de sang au cas où. Ça peut être une bonne idée. Donc du coup, bah, on va confirmer et on va voir ce qui va se passer. Alors, combattons la montée du crime. De nouvelles preuves du danger qui rôde dans les rues de Londres. Une jeune infirmière nommée Dorothy Crane a été retrouvée morte hier matin entre les murs de ce qui semblait être un dispensaire illégal où les habitants du quartier pouvaient recevoir des soins grâce à des bienfaiteurs anonymes. La cause de la mort de Miss Crane laisse peu de place au doute. Elle est décédée à la suite d'une perte de sang massive due à ce que la police décrit comme étant une énorme blessure au niveau du cou. Cette découverte macabre n'est qu'une pierre de plus à l'inquiétant édifice qu'est Whitechapel. Ses résidents sont des criminels, des bandits et des psychopathes déguisés en londoniens. Curieusement, aucun hôpital de la ville n'avoue avoir employé la jeune victime. Le dispensaire a été immédiatement fermé par la commission de santé du conseil du comté de Londres. Comme d'habitude, les progressistes les plus acharnés de la ville se sont opposés à la fermeture de cet établissement médical illégal, arguant qu'il était indispensable aux habitants du quartier. Les honnêtes citoyens que nous sommes ne peuvent que craindre le jour où la sauvagerie de Whitechapel s'infiltrera dans les rues de la City. En tant qu'être civilisé, il est de notre devoir de protéger nos familles, nos amis et nous-mêmes. Donc du coup voilà, ça c'est le résultat de notre choix. Donc du coup, Dorothy Crane est morte.
I never thought I would have to attend my murdered sister's funeral. Mary, I can't forgive myself. I'll find the truth about what happened to us. I swear.
Bon, eux, ça leur fait pas de grand chose, c'est juste un petit peu embêtant en vrai. Ok. On va essayer. Vas-y, et puis. Oh, ça fait mal. Ah ouais. Non. C'est bon, j'ai essayé de le croquer, mais il avait tellement peu de vie que ça a pas marché. Ouais, j'allais dire, c'est pas possible. J'en ai marre, même quand j'anticipe, ça ne marche pas. Ah, ils sont tellement durs à anticiper, ceux-là, je les déteste.
My dear sister, I don't know if I have the strength.
Somebody help! What do you want?
Oh, je strike. Vas-y. Non, j'ai pas pu. J'ai fait un truc. Je fais des trucs, je comprends rien. Je peux encore faire ça aussi, hein. Non. Suffit maintenant. Je sais pas si j'aime bien cette arme là, vraiment, elle est... Il a l'air qu'elle fait plus de... moins de dégâts, mais qu'elle enlève plus de barres d'endurance, on va dire, des ennemis. Pour que je puisse plus facilement les assommer et les croquer, mais en soi, ça m'arrangerait peut-être mieux de faire des dégâts en vrai. On va juste d'abord aller aider la dame.
Are you all right, miss?
I don't know. Who were those people? They wanted to kill me. Why?
They've lost their minds in the epidemic. They won't come back for now.
You seem to know a lot about them, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm investigating this disease.
I am Xiaoxun. Thank you so much for helping me, Mr. Reed. I must go to the cemetery now. Goodbye.
It's locked, all right.
Généralement, ils sont jamais tout seuls. Hein. Non, ils sont jamais tout seuls, c'est bien ce que je disais. Quoi qu'en soit... Eh il m'a frappé, lui. Bah tiens, je te rends ton coup. Après, quand tu maîtrises, ça se passe bien. D'accord, je voulais pas qu'il tape 2 fois, mais... J'aurais dû augmenter ma jauge de sang, en vrai. J'ai eu peur du corps, pardon.
Since I can't reveal myself to my mother now, I must find a discreet spot to attend the ceremony.
I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. We commend unto thy hands of mercy, most merciful Father, the soul of our sister departed, and we commit her body to the ground. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Why kill my Mary and stick her here in this cold, god-awful place?
These are the legal requirements for the epidemic, madam.
Oh, Avery, I feel so tired. Please take me home.
Yes, madam.
Oh, Mary. What have I done? If I could only change one thing. One thing. This is a nightmare.
Jonathan, there is nothing you can do but accept it.
What brings you here?
I thought you could use the company. I am so sorry for your loss, Jonathan.
I wish the tears would come. But I'm empty. And I feel a hypocrite.
Let your pain run free, Jonathan. Don't smother it. What you feel is your humanity. Don't be so quick to lose it.
She had been scouring the most dangerous parts of London in search of me. And it led to her death.
Jonathan, don't.
I still hear her last thoughts. They echo in my head. Her mind shattered. And it haunts me.
Jonathan, stop. Listen carefully. You must come to terms with this. You must learn to live with what happened.
How can I? I've destroyed my family. My poor mother. I can't even console her.
Don't you see? You're doing the work of our enemies, feeding your remorse. We are weakest when we grieve, and the guilt blurs our senses.
And so this is why you're here. To warn me. You've felt this pain yourself. You too have endured this.
I don't want to lose you, Jonathan. I've lost so many friends. Loved ones I cherished. Pray for Mary's forgiveness, if you must.
You may be right.
Of course. I've stared upon this world for centuries, and time has taught me to deal with guilt, if not erase it.
What should I do then?
St. Mary's Church is not far from here. Go there and make your peace. Find the solace you need.
My lady wants me to confess.
No, Jonathan. It's you who wants to confess, I think.
Se rendre à l'église Sainte-Marie. Il y a un refuge ici. On va sortir par ce côté-là parce que je sais qu'il y a des gens. Et donc on va éviter de tomber dessus par hasard et de se faire surprendre. Oh 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 oh. Lui il a été le dommage collatéral par contre. Non mais... Tu m'auras même pas rendu la vie que tu m'as pris. Zut alors. Pas quoi qu'un niveau 16 en vrai. Bon, on va tenter. Hein. Salut. Oh, génial! Non mais... Pourquoi? Pourquoi? Jonathan! Vas-y, donne-moi. Mais j'avais esquivé, j'en ai marre, même parfois quand j'esquive. Je vais mourir. Me prends un coup. putain, évidemment. Bon, moi maintenant il est tout seul. Ça aurait été compliqué, vraiment.
Hello, sir. Sorry to disturb you at this hour. I'm a doctor inquiring about the epidemic. May I come in?
A doctor, you say? No, thank you.
D'accord, je suis obligée d'avoir un niveau de charme de 3, mais que je n'ai pas, donc au revoir alors.
I shan't insist. Goodbye for now, sir.
And off to church he goes, a newborn seeking divine consent to lick the blood from the soft and pointy crown.
Who are you? Make yourself known.
Newborn, you reek of guilt and pointless compassion. Shed your skin, forget your old weaker self.
What do you want from me?
Ascalon does not approve of lone wolves who bring unwanted eyes to our pastures.
So your name is Ascalon?
Ascalon's will is vampire law. Learn them, abide by them, or I shall return as your judge and jury.
These immortals try my patience with their plans and unsolicited counsel.
Tiens, ça se bat là-bas au bout. D'accord, je vais vraiment me... Ah, par contre, lui, je l'aime pas du tout. Je les déteste, ceux-là, ils sont tellement... Éloigne-toi! Éloigne-toi de lui! Alors, eux, il faut se méfier parce que leur lumière, elle fait très mal, en vrai. Aïe! En plus ils feront mal. Mais laisse-moi le temps de me relever aussi. Je les hais ceux-là, ils sont tellement chiants. Non, tais-toi.
This man stung me with his faith. His crucifix. This is not good news.
Yes? What is it that you want?
I'm sorry to disturb you at such a late hour.
No worries, my son. I'm still quite awake, having just returned from a funeral.
Yes, I know. I've forgotten what I wanted. I don't know.
May I help you, child? You seem somewhat perturbed.
I haven't the strength to cross the threshold. I wish to pray, to cleanse my soul.
The church is shut by order of the bishop. But I'm still the vicar of St. Mary's, if that is any use to you, my son.
You seem to me a good soul, Vicar. But this is a personal matter.
There are no secrets from God, my son. If your heart needs comfort, consider me your chapel. For I can be as silent as stone.
I've words for one departed. They're not for living ears to hear.
Your eyes burn with rage, yet I see the pain that lies beyond. I am here to lighten the burden of all God's creatures. Whatever you tell me is between us and the Lord.
Very well, priest, as you seem quite adamant.
Open your heart, my son. Tell me what burdens you. With whom do you wish to speak?
Allez, comme il veut pas trop en parler, sachez seulement que je tenais à elle.
Just know, I cared for her.
You seem so troubled by the loss of this girl. What happened to her?
It was an accident. A terrible, terrible accident.
I see. And how are you feeling, my son?
I feel responsible. The pain is consuming me.
I have a final question for you, my son. This is of the utmost importance.
Ask your question, Vicar.
What would you like her to know?
I killed you. There's no excuse. My dear Mary, forgive me.
You have been heard, my son, and your burden will lighten if your words are sincere. Go in peace now, and live your life in the way she would have wanted.
Ça pouvait être si facile en vrai.
Whatever happened on this dock is between my sister and I. It does not concern God at all.
Doctor, can I help you?
Have you any news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
Without a proper investigation, her death will go unpunished. Another Whitechapel tragedy. One that people need to hear about.
Christina Popper claims she sells her body because she can't find any other work. Do you believe her?
Of course I do. Her story is exactly what I want my readers to understand. We live in an intolerant and divided nation.
Do you think things will ever change, Mr. Darby?
I believe the situation can only improve. And now that women can vote, I'm convinced things will change.
Good evening, Christina.
Change your mind, Mr. Reed?
What do you know about Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
I paid my respects when she got killed. She died far from her country and from her family. It is a sad story.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Have you recent news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
It's the vanity of that woman which caused her death. Only penance can save us from the scourge.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Really?
And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Ok.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Fire is just the instinctive answer of a caveman facing something he does not understand. This is the 20th century.
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
Un homme très dangereux.
I have heard enough for tonight. Goodbye.
Ah, tiens. Traitement pour le mal de tête, fiole de verre. Un bon médical.
Good evening, Mr. Petrescu. What are you doing here?
I could ask you the exact same question, Mr. Doctor. Now leave me alone.
I heard what happened to Nurse Crane. How do you feel, Mr. Petrescu?
Everything was going well until you arrived. Dorothea helped people and will be sorely missed.
I regret it too. I wish she'd continued working at the Pembroke Hospital. She was a good nurse.
So you put an end to the operation. Did you put an end to Dorothea as well?
You seem to have a lot on your chest, sir. What's wrong?
I could ask you a lot of questions, Dr. Reed. Questions about what happened to Dorothea when you visited her.
Ask any questions, Mr. Petrescu. But be prepared for answers you may not like.
No, Mr. Doctor. I will keep my mouth shut. For I am just an old, infirm immigrant that no one would believe anyway.
What do you plan to do now that Nurse Crane is gone?
I'm not sure. Strange men came to see me after Dorothea's death, with strange weapons and very odd stories.
Goodbye, Mr. Petrescu.
Ouais, bon, c'était prévisible ce qui allait se passer, mais bon. On assume, on assume.
Remorse and pain are precious when binding you to the earth. You. I remember you.
Je peux passer à côté de toi et te snobber. On va pas faire ça, ça serait bête.
Fear be gone. I would harm no child of my making.
This is your doing. You made me this creature. What are you?
I am the land. You are our champion.
You selected me, chose me.
As shall my children yet to come.
What is it you seek?
This age is sickly. An ancient poison, an older rage, brewed in a cauldron newly forged.
This has something to do with the epidemic.
Seek truth, my champion. defeat the servant of knowing with iron spur.
D'accord, ce fut rapide.
I've had enough of others making decisions for me, pretending to know how I should feel or behave. So the vampire who made me is some sort of disembodied entity? Or was he just projecting this vision in my mind? Maybe Edgar can help me with this one.
God protect us. You've got a leech in the hospital.
Yes, my hospital. My mission is to heal while you go about warring.
You've set the table for a snake. I wonder why there's venom in your food.
I'm growing tired of your song. You're a woodsman, McCullum, not a doctor. Return to your hunt.
Remember, I've a good nose for machinations. I can flare the scent at a mile. You can't hide from the god.
Leave him, Jonathan. This is sacred ground. Neutral territory. And I just had the carpet cleaned.
Bah, en même temps, Jonathan, il est cramé avec ses yeux.
Bad news indeed.
What happened?
The hospital has been attacked. We have injured patients, at least one dead and several missing. This has spiraled out of control. Even the most infirm are asking to be allowed to return home.
We cannot have the people lose faith in this institution. This hospital is their only hope.
Of course, you're right. But we cannot afford a public scandal. It would ruin us. We must restore order, and quickly.
You mentioned a dead patient. Who is he?
She, Jonathan. She was Miss Harriet Jones. I found her room like a slaughterhouse. Blood everywhere. The duty nurse is taking care of the mess.
Very well. I'll help you.
I know this place means something to you. I have noticed how you suppress your appetite when around the staff and patients.
You need to know you can trust me, Edgar.
I do, dear fellow, I do.
Please then, tell me.
Sean Hampton, the man we thought we'd saved at the docks. It seems he was infected after all.
So Hampton became more beast than man.
Exactly. And now Guard of Prewen suspects the hospital of vampire activity. Do you realize what that could mean for us?
Ils n'ont pas tout à fait tort. En vrai, ils n'ont pas tout à fait tort.
Well, they are not far wrong. The hospital is almost crawling with vampires.
McCullum is a fanatic. The Guard will stop at nothing. You don't know what they're capable of, Jonathan.
Very well. Since I brought Mr. Hampton here, I will put an end to this. Sean Hampton lives and breathes for the well-being of his flock. There's no other place he would go but the docks. Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
What can you tell me about the recent events in the hospital?
That Mr. Hampton killed Miss Jones in her room, then ran away.
And did you see all this?
No. I was working by the tents when it all happened. I only entered the room when they asked me to clean up the blood.
Where is Miss Jones's body?
I don't know. I'd imagine the morgue. It all happened so quickly.
Did you see Sean Hampton leave the hospital?
I think I saw a silhouette exiting the hospital gates after the shouting started. At first I thought it was someone who was just scared, but... well, maybe it was him.
Oh, elle est là, elle. Qu'est-ce qu'elle fait là?
Oh, Jonathan. I cannot believe my eyes. Poor woman. Butchered by some savage scowl.
Moi, je suis à partie responsable.
Yes, and I'm afraid I'm at least partially responsible. The man, the scowl, I brought him here.
Jonathan, How could you say such a thing?
Forgive me if I feel despondent. For there seems to be no end to the suffering and death that surrounds us.
I'm always here for you, Jonathan.
What do you know of Ascalon? I was threatened by a creature, a vampire in Whitechapel, stating I had to obey the law of conduct.
What more can you tell me about him?
He was bigger than a man. Huge, in fact. He seemed to radiate violence. I thought he was going to tear me apart. Then he vanished.
Fergal, the executioner of Ascalon. You were fortunate he was not after you, but rather out doing his master's bidding.
What is Ascalon?
The Ascalon Club are the most powerful vampires in Britain and exert tremendous influence. Take my advice and stay well away.
Thank you, my lady. I hope to see you again soon.
Oh. Allez, mais... Prends-toi tes coups. Ah ouais, mais... Voilà. Bon, du coup, on doit voler les rapports maintenant au Pembroke Hospital. Ce qui n'est pas une mauvaise idée étant donné que quand on a croisé leur chef et qu'il en a un peu après l'hôpital, c'est sans doute une bonne idée. Oh! T'as spawné toi? Vraiment? Tiens. Monsieur, après avoir observé le Pembroke Hospital pendant 2 semaines, maintenant, nous pouvons confirmer qu'une activité vampirique a lieu dans cet établissement. Alors, la grotte chasse, gloire à nos camarades tombés au combat. Gloire à nos camarades tombés au combat. La guerre a emporté mes frères, nous avons traqué ces ennemis de l'humanité tapis dans dans les sombres tunnels de nos villes modernes. Les suceurs de sang qui ont survécu à notre courroux se souviennent que nous n'arrêterons jamais. Ah, il y a des choses, des balles. Bon, et comme nous avons tout récupéré, on va retourner à l'hôpital, rassurer Thelma sur les espions. Même s'il se gourre complètement parce que Thelma n'est pas un vrai vampire, elle se prend pour un vampire, mais c'est pas un vrai vampire.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
I have made inquiries about the men who were tracking you, Miss Howcroft.
I did not expect a mortal to have this sort of courage. Speak, Doctor. Why are they hunting me down?
It was a misunderstanding. These hunters were in fact looking for a very different creature, but they mistakenly put their sights on you.
I knew it. I have become undone. Those hunters have discovered me, but they don't know what I'm capable of.
If you'll accept some advice from a petty mortal, I think you should assume a low profile and just quietly disappear into the shadows.
You are right. And you have served me well, mortal. Take this as a reward for your time. Perhaps I will allow you to drink deep of my blood. One day.
Thank you. I'll keep that proposition in mind.